Cat dog, cat dog, alone in the world, a little cat dog. How a tiny cat dog took over the world.
So this video is going to be about, is it foxes? Is the
I don't know.
Foxes?
I have no clue.
The picture is of a fox.
I have no idea. There is a fox, okay? I'm
It
not
makes
denying
sense
that.
because they look like dogs, but they act like cats. Yeah. I think that's what that's about.
I think that they act like dogs and they act like cats. I think that it's that very thing that makes them weird because they have different physical attributes that are similar to both. They have attitudes that are similar to both. They do a lot of things that you're like, oh, that's a cat behavior. Oh, that's a dog behavior.
There was that one video that I showed you, and I don't know if it was like a pet fox, but this lady was very familiar with this fox, and she had her phone recording him.
Yes.
And he jumped up and bit and took her phone.
And took off running with it.
And then started running, but
Yes.
it was like yapping the whole
Yeah.
time.
They make weird ass noises. And a lot of it is like the noises are even a mixture of what a dog and a cat would do.
Yeah.
It's like, they're just so weird. And I can't wait to see Casual Geographic talk about this. He makes awesome videos. Big fan of everything he's done so far. And this is a brand new one. So, you know we got to check this out.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
What does the fox say? What does the fox say?
That's terrifying.
What does the fox say?
That's my favorite.
Hi, Cleo. Hi.
So beautiful.
All right,
So
pop
weird.
quiz. What is the most widespread carnivore on Earth? Out of all of those animals in the world, which one managed to spread further and thrive in more places than any other? This isn't rhetorical, by the way. Comment your answer. I'm actually curious. All votes in? Okay, good. It's the red fox. I don't know when it happened, but somewhere in the history of Earth, there was a subplot where the fox took over the world, and they have not let up since. Today, there's about 23 flavors of fox seasoning this big ball of dirt and water.
That looks like a
with
coyote.
well over 40 subspecies on their roster.
They're
And
small.
they are everywhere. From griefing gardens in the suburbs, to pickpocketing polar bears in the north, to murking koalas in Australia. Trust and believe we gonna get to that. You can find some Vulpes variant virtually anywhere in the world that isn't the ocean or Antarctica. And the biggest flex of the foxes is the red fox. Despite being in the weight class of a small dog, no other mammalian carnivore owns more real estate. And even though they're invited to the carnivore cookout, technically they're omnivores, which means they eat, and I do not say this lightly, everything. Rabbits, rodents, birds, frogs, worms, fish, crabs, clams, insects, lizards, eggs, fruits, plants, garbage, cat food, dog food, carry-on, and I don't mean the bag, and actual feces. Literally their whole meal plan is, if it doesn't kill them first, they'll eat it. Foxes are also able to exploit the Earth's magnetic fields in order to catch bodies. You've probably seen this thing foxes do where they'll swan dive into a pile of stuff.
Yes.
So cute. It's called mousing, and foxes are able to use magnetic fields as this kind of internal GPS, and they cross-reference that with a broken sense of hearing to figure out exactly where their target is and exactly where to land a
What the
critical hit.
fuck?
Foxes pretty much have a real-life wall hack, and they're one of the few animals to hunt like this. They're also smart enough to memorize the migration patterns of certain species of birds, meaning they know the exact time to pull up for free and easy protein. Foxes also managed to figure out the same with some turtles, since timing it right after they lay
Turtles?
peace out means low-effort omelets. Call that over easy. And arguably, no place has foxed around and found out more than Australia. Because way back in the 1800s, Europeans airdropped red foxes to the land down under for the sport of fox hunting. Evidently, the foxes weren't about to go down like that.
I
To the
took
point where a
that
couple years
personal.
ago, it's estimated that over 7 million foxes exist in Australia as a perpetual middle finger to the settlers that thought they'd be light work. Some unhinged foxes even learn to climb trees in order to snatch baby koalas and sugar gliders, proving that any animal that gets introduced to Australia will inevitably become a problem. And now, foxes and feral cats are like the Kobe and Shaq of putting native Australian animals on a shirt. That ability to adapt means foxes are one of the very few predators that do better in cities. Not as well, not almost as well, no, better. Today, the highest density of foxes living in Britain are shacking it up in the city. In some neighborhoods,
What?
you'll find twice as many fox families than you would in the countryside, and 200 times as many than in some desolate moors. And even though they get straight up bullied by bigger canines, foxes don't rely on a pack structure the same way wolves do. And they have enough pretty privilege to dodge the smoke everyone seems to have for coyotes. It also helps that they're nocturnal and move like introverts. Mama fox will go out of her way to clean the den area so well that the average person can walk right past it and not even realize there's a whole family.
Holy shit.
And just like with birds, foxes will study and memorize the schedule of humans in the area and only come out when it's least active. They'll even take advantage of garbage schedules so they know exactly when to come root through your trash. And they'll even take note of what times you often feed your pets so that they can steal their share. And you may never even notice. Depending on where you live, you can probably count on one hand how many foxes you've seen in your neighborhood, even if you've lived around them your entire life. And lucky for them, they happen to be just cute enough to not have to worry about getting their existence nuked like some of their predators. Speaking of which, let's talk about the many enemies of the fox. You got wolves, coyotes, cougars, lynxes, birds of prey, bears, wolverines, cars, and many, many more. Because the one bad thing about being a fox is everything on the census either wants to eat you or wants to kill you because you eat the same things. In fact, the first and sometimes last enemy they'll make is their family. Fox cubs will fight their siblings off rip in order to establish a hierarchy. And it's not the cute Disney play fighting I used to think it was. 20% of fox kids born will never leave the den. It's just straight violence out the womb. I can't even say it's on site since baby foxes live the hell experience for the first 2 weeks of their life. Lucky for them, foxes often mate for life and bring up the kids together. I mentioned this in the Father's Day episode last video, but fox fathers will hide food around the den in these little pantries in order to teach his kids how to find food for themselves. I want you to keep that pantry thing in mind. We're gonna come back to that. Fox cubs have a couple months of a grace period before they have to go out and figure out life on their own. Lucky for them, they're part of the most unfairly versatile group of animals you'll ever see. Like, did you know foxes can climb trees? No, I don't mean like fully scale that, John. The gray fox has been seen ascending over 70 feet up into a tree, and they're one of the few foxes that flex retractable claws, which allows gray foxes to avoid conflict with predators like coyotes.
See, that's a cat
Go ahead and
move.
ask cheetahs how important that is. Tree climbing only proves that foxes are just cat software marrying dog hardware. A cat dog, if you will. And it shows that there isn't a lot of real estate on Earth that a fox can't claim.
Wow, it's
and
great.
no fox proves this more than my personal favorite, the Arctic fox.
Dude,
This
those
igloo puppy
things
has
are
zero
beautiful.
business surviving out here.
So
Not only is
cute.
it cold enough to get one shot by wind, the Arctic
Oh
fox
my
also has
God.
ops like wolves and polar bears to worry about. And since pretty much anything goes in Satan's ice ring, both of them will not hesitate to eat a fun-sized fox. And it really be your own kind, since another unlikely menace to an ice fox's life is the red fox. Because as small as they are, the red fox is still 2 to 3 times bigger than their snowy cousins. And yes, red foxes will 100% murk and eat their weaker relatives if it means surviving. So you'd think it'd be curtains for any pint-sized predator that even tries out here. Well, about that. Don't think for a second Arctic foxes don't have their tricks too. They'll strategically follow polar bears for miles just to clean off whatever they don't finish. We're talking about a house cat-sized fox slipping food from the literal biggest land predator on the planet, while also managing to stay far enough to avoid getting their consciousness confiscated permanently. These baby-faced survivors will even resort to scavenging the polar bear's food, except after it's already been digested and taken the south exit. Yeah, they're a different kind of potty mouth. But the Arctic fox has a secret to never having to miss a meal. These Q-tip terriers have a pantry system where they'll bury any extra food in a network of underground dens, which can stretch across 20 miles. And it's these food supplies that keeps the Arctic fox's pulse going in the dead of winter. There was even one time where researchers uncovered a fox cellar containing 38 birds, 4 rabbits, and about a dozen eggs. Oh, it's hoarding on 1,000, but it's what keeps them Euro-stepping death and ghosting the Grim Reaper. This cotton-colored canine has one more trick too. Coming in all white helps the glacier jockey cosplay as a snowdrift in order to avoid predators. But once the sun finally makes an appearance like an absentee father on tax day, the longer daylight triggers hormonal changes that causes them to change coats. They go from whiter than a party in the Hamptons to a thinner coat that matches the tundra the Arctic turns into. And it's all these abilities that allows the chameleon of foxes to live in one of the most unlivable places on Earth. And so does the smallest fox in the world. On the other side of the spectrum, the fennec fox survives in a very different kind of desert. It's the smallest canine in the world and could probably get bodied by a chihuahua. Those massive ears are good for 3 things: increasing their overall surface area.
That's how I feel in the morning.
The same way elephant ears do. Helping them pinpoint the insects, lizards, and rodents on its grocery list even while they're underground. And for looking absolutely adorable doing it. Like I said, foxes are broken. Especially since fennecs can live off the moisture they get from food and by licking the dew from their dens. Not only that, but their kidneys are actually designed to function off very little actual water, making this travel-sized fox one of the few animals able to survive in the desert without drinking actual water. And as a human, you tap out from life after about 3 days of a water fast. In fact, where the fennec fox may never have to drink at all, the average adult should drink about 48 ounces a day. That's just over 2 of these. which can often feel like a chore, but Airup's flavor pods makes it way
I
easier.
was waiting.
These pods actually manage to trick your brain by using scent flavors traveling to your brain to replicate the taste of whatever pod you chose. Whole time you're just drinking plain water. Just fill the bottle up, pull the pod to activate the flavor, hold the bottle upright, and yeah, that's pretty much it. My personal favorite's mango passion fruit, but you have a variety of options like watermelon, peach, cucumber, orange, apple, and a bunch more. And again, there's no calories, no sugar. It's just you gaslighting your brain, since about 80% of taste is actually dependent on smell. Now, I've never had a problem drinking enough water, but after deciding to try to cut down on sodas and juices, I can honestly say Arup has come in clutch more than a few times.
Let me get a drink
and you know
of my
this isn't
Coke.
just an ad. I literally tell y'all to drink water in every single video. And now I can help with that. So make sure you check out Arup and their many flavor pods using the link in the description. Use the code CASUALGO15 for 15% off. And like always, make sure y'all staying hydrated out there.
I
Hydration
just had
isn't
a
a
drink.
problem for a pocket-sized sand pup. Oh, and by the way, since their kidneys are always on desert mode, Fennec's fox pee is super concentrated and smells like pee-pee Le Pew. And since
Ew.
foxes will pee on any surface, 2 hours with a Fennec under your roof and your house will smell like a skunk orgy. So yeah, don't be confusing them for good pets. You shouldn't confuse them for a pale fox either. That's offensive to them. They look similar, but the pale fox
Oh
is
my
slightly
God.
bigger, has a smaller range, and is overall the less clouded dupe of the Fennec. And if you take a quick trip a couple
Cute.
hundred miles down south, you'll find the bat-eared fox.
Whoa.
Unlike the rest of the fox
Okay.
family, they're
It's like a
made
raccoon.
contains almost
Yeah.
entirely insects, with most of their protein coming from termites. Those satellite dish ears allows it to eavesdrop on termite affairs before it packs them. They've even gone ahead and invested in extra teeth to help with their
Holy
termite
shit.
terminating tendencies. Bat ears also acts on fox-like by living in packs, usually made of a mating pair and their children, kind of the same way wolf packs work. It's like a fox that slept through the lecture on How to Fox 101, which actually makes a lot of sense since technically bat-eared foxes aren't true foxes. There are 12 species that earn the title of true fox, and 4 of them we've already mentioned: the red fox, the Arctic, the Fennec, and the pale fox. Another true fox is the Tibetan fox.
That's got
No,
the
I'm serious. That's
quagmire
exactly
jaw.
what they look like a reborn human realizing reincarnation ain't always sweet. Or like nature got drunk and tried redrawing foxes strictly from memory and then uploaded it as a dare. It's the only animal able to side-eye you while looking you dead in the face. A picture's worth 1,000 words, and every image of a Tibetan fox tells a story of apathy, indifference, and a splash of contempt. Now you might be wondering why
What?
these foxes
No.
are AI-generated
No.
voices painting. Some say it's to help them cope with a windy environment. Some say it's because their skulls are specialized for carnivory. I say God or nature, whoever did this to them, has a twisted sense of humor. Evidently, the Tibetan fox does not. Also, you know the whole coyote-badger team-up that we all love so much and can't get enough of? Apparently, the Tibetan fox has the same type of arrangement with Himalayan brown bears.
No!
Bears will dig out pika burrows, that's a pika, and force them to run on land, where they get chased down by the fox. The fox isn't the digger the bear is, but the fox has better foot speed, so like any true dynamic duo, they cover each other's weaknesses, even if one of them looks allergic to oxygen. I'm gonna run through a couple more foxes real quick. We have Blandford's fox, found in the Middle East and Central Asia. They're easily the goats of foxes, able to scale anything short of 90 degrees and able to do the equivalent of a 10-foot box jump by leaping onto
Damn.
ledges. There's the kit fox of the Southwest, also known as the San Joaquin fox, and they're basically the American edition of the Fennec fox. We can't forget about the Corsac fox of the Mongolian steppe and Central Asian deserts. Then you got the Cape fox of South America, and the slightly bigger Indian-based Bengal fox. I was not kidding, unless you're neighbors with the cast of Happy Feet, there's likely more foxes in your area than hot singles just dying to meet you. Foxes come in so many forms that they even have their equivalent of a shiny Pokemon. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the cross fox.
Whoa!
It's actually a red fox with partial melanism. You know, the same thing that turns leopards and jaguars into black panthers. They're more common in Canada, where up to a third of the red fox population has this bimelanated alternate skin. And even rarer than them are silver foxes, which is just a red fox with complete melanism, gang. Because yeah, red foxes aren't always red. Like I said, foxes exist in many forms, but there's one final form not even they saw coming. Pets. That's right, there's a population of domestic foxes in the world as we speak. Basically, the lore goes, this guy, Dmitry Belyaev, asked a question. How did we go from this apex predator to a lapdog? So he and graduate Ludmila Trut tried to see if they could replicate the wolf domestication process, except with foxes. They created a fox farm with 100 vixens and 30 males,
want
in
that
which
job.
foxes got to mate depending on which ones were the most tolerant of humans. The most human-friendly foxes fornicated, and this process repeated itself with the next generation. Essentially, they were selecting for traits that would make them the most fit for human companionship. And as the experiment wore on, the foxes went from not fearful of people, to tolerant of people, to actively seeking out people. Later generations would develop an affinity towards humans, sniffing and licking people, and even replacing the aggressive yips and shrieks with more passive whimpers and pants. But what we weren't expecting was, as their personalities and attitudes towards people changed, so did their bodies. The more people-friendly foxes sported droopy ears and curled up tails, which is pretty different from the upright ears and downwards pointed tails of their wild cousins. And after decades of successfully playing God with foxes, we now live in a world where you can adopt and own a pet silver fox.
I need it.
Now here's the part of the video where I tell you why you ain't ready for that. They poop and pee everywhere, and there isn't a surface in their house they can't get to.
You little shit.
What?
They scream, especially at night. You'll be finding out what the fox says while you're trying to count sheep. Not to mention you're probably going to sacrifice furniture for their happiness. That combination adds up to a good chance you're up at 3 a.m. cleaning fox feces off the top of your fridge while cursing yourself for not just getting a hamster. You can probably find a way to make it work if you do the research and you're committed enough, but, and I'm going to say this as many times as it's applicable, if you're that willing to sacrifice your sleep, sanity, and social life for a screaming, pooping deratio of a creature, just have children. Because foxes are great wild animals, but they can really be some mid-as-hell pets. That's going to do it for this video. Friendly reminder that I do have a book out. It's called 100 Animals That Can Redacted Kill You. Link in the description if you're interested. Shout out to Arab for sponsoring this video. Shout out to you all for watching this video. Drink water, wear sunscreen, touch grass, hug your parents, and I'm going to see y'all in the next one. Oh yeah, and happy birthday to me.
Aww.
Hey, happy birthday, dude.
This is the video.
My porky potato. Hi. Hi.
Yoink.
I told
Yoink.
you.
Yep. Done stole the phone.
And then she gets it back. She's like, what the hell?
I don't want. Yeah, the fox wouldn't be saying
What
shit.
is it? Yeah, you heard him, Nikki. Yeah, I mean, I thought about it, and I don't think I could do it.
You don't think you
I
could
don't
do
think-
it? I don't think I could do it.
It's like, for the longest time, I really wanted an otter. I was like, they're just like the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. Their little hands, the way they do the pebbles. And I do love their little shrieks. But damn if they are not annoying as shit. Now, I've never, like, met one. But even just, like, 10 minutes of watching videos, I'm like, man, I'm really fucking over this.
The cats are enough for me.
They don't even make noises like that.
No, I'm talking about trying to walk to the kitchen at night and Launch would be like, I'm attacking your foot.
Okay.
Or, you know, Sushi now, our new cat, I'm sitting there trying to take a dump and he's like, I want to be on your shoulder now. Huh! And I've got
That's
claws
why I
in my
have
damn
claw marks right
arms.
here.
I've got scabs on both shoulders.
In your belly
from-
button.
And my belly button from him reaching. Like, I'm sitting there taking a shit. He runs up, like, where my feet are and then stretches out and goes into my belly.
He's a
And
live
one
boy.
of his little fucking
Talons.
claws hooked me in my belly button and then just like,
Dragged down.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
no.
love the guy, but he massacres me, dude.
So, like, okay, people know this. Maybe I
And
shouldn't
you
be sharing
shouldn't
this, but-
declaw your cats.
No, no,
you know?
no,
I know that shit's annoying, but it's come to just don't. If you're going to declaw a cat, just don't own one.
Yeah, no, when I was growing up, my dad's girlfriend at the time had 3 cats.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess this is maybe before, like, people really knew. I don't know, because she was a nurse. But all of her cats were declawed.
That's so fucked up.
And so, like, there was this one cat, he was very feisty, and he would play tricks on you. Like, you would be just, like, going through, like, the kitchen at night, and he would climb on the top of the cabinets and wait and time it until you were walking by, and then he would jump down in front of you just to scare you. So there was this one time that my dad, I've told this story before, but there was like the family computer in the living room, and he was on the family computer. We had a recliner, and the cat would sit on the back of the recliner, and he would like take his head and do this, and the cat got like really pissed off. Well, my dad knew that he was declawed, so like he would swat at him, but he couldn't like hurt him.
Yeah.
And he was just pestering him because they always had this little back and forth exchange. And the cat was just like, look, I know that I can't fuck you up with my claws right now, so I'm just gonna bite into your ear and not let go. And my dad was like, ah! And this cat was just like not letting go. And I should have been afraid or, you know, like worried. I was laughing my ass
Nikki!
off because he shouldn't have fucked with him like that. It was like the third time he was like, I'm done with this.
Okay.
I mean, animals are
Animals.
animals.
They are.
I couldn't.
The fox is not a good animal to
in
have.
the guy's coffee mug.
With the precision, too. So,
He did it on purpose.
Dude, just imagine, this thing goes up to one of your video game consoles and goes, oh, that controller slot? Psst.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
And it's like a concentrated pea. Like, we had sugar gliders, and they were like the funkiest smelling little guys.
Look.
Their pee smelled like I've never smelled the smell before. And I imagine a fox to be similar.
People who brag about having sugar gliders as pets remind me of those people who pick the most awful hobby ever and then keep being like, no, it's great. I can't quit doing this. It's so amazing. It's like, have you ever just walked on glass? There's so much to it. The crunch, the texture,
oh my God.
It's a bonding experience. And it's no. You are sugarcoating hell right now because you don't want to admit that you're wrong. I
have met sweet sugar gliders before.
Okay, again,
Ours
they are not sweet. There are no sweet sugar gliders.
That's
These
not
sugar
true.
gliders, they are literally only being the way that they're being because they are terrified of everything else.
They're dependent on you.
Yes.
Okay.
They're dependent on your pockets.
For dogs, you can say the same thing for.
Nope.
They're that way because
there's
food.
proof. There's proof and scientific evidence that dogs show affection for humans. They miss people and love them and have shit go on in their brain. They are trying to they see you as a tree that saves them and provides food for them like a tree would,
Dude, I was 7 and an adult had a sugar glider and I was just like,
they're adorable. They are
and it
cool
crawled
as shit.
all over me and I was like, oh my God.
They're amazing animals. They are not really trying to fuck with you like that. And even
I think you just had a poor experience.
I learned about them to find out why the experience was poor. Number one, we saved and rescued our sugar gliders.
We called them
because
Michael
they were
Myers.
in some really, really fucked up situations and experiences. Okay, literally the lady that we got. This pet store is no longer in operation. It got shut down. Thank God. We tried to help as much as we could in getting this pet store shut down. It's where we got our hedgehog and where we got the sugar glider.
And then I was not allowed to go back in because I couldn't.
Nikki was saving
continue.
every animal that was in there. Which, it is what it is. You got to do what you got to do sometimes.
I can't stand to see.
The lady was shaking the cage.
Yeah, I said
to get the sugar glider out, and it was in a pouch because it was daytime. Obviously, they're nocturnal.
No, I didn't even know.
She started shaking the pouch.
I said, "What is in here?" Because we couldn't see and it wasn't labeled. I just asked her, "What is in here?" And instead of just telling me, "Oh, it's a sugar glider. They're nocturnal. He's asleep," she opened it. I want to say.
Well, she started banging on the cage, and it didn't come out. So she grabbed the pouch he was asleep in and started shaking him out of the pouch.
And I said, and he didn't come out. And he was making this. It's called crabbing, and he was making this really loud siren noise.
I can still hear it.
I know, me too. And I was like, I don't care what is in there. I'm taking it home with me. And I did.
Well, we asked her, Nikki and I have never been rich. And we were poorer then than we are now.
Yeah.
And we were like, what do you want for this entire cage, the animal in it, and everything?
Yeah.
And she cut us a deal, and we took it out of there. And there we rescued another one because we found out that they're not supposed to be alone. And then we just realized these animals are not meant to be pets like this.
Yeah.
And so we got them introduced into a colony of sugar gliders because they're supposed to be in a colony. So we found
30 plus, not just 5.
Right, or 2.
Yeah.
You can't just pair them up and that's good enough. They're supposed to be in a colony. So
and the problem was we got him a girlfriend. He's neutered. I don't know how that happened, but he was already neutered.
Yes.
We got him a girlfriend, and I thought maybe that'll help him. And both bonded, but things would get like
aggressively
aggressively spicy.
He aggressively pursued her, and she aggressively denied him.
No. Yes. And then, so I started getting worried. This is sidetrack. I started getting worried.
We're talking about getting pets that aren't like cats and dogs. It's not a good idea.
I started getting worried about her. I was like, I don't like this, because they were animals.
Fighting a lot.
It wasn't. Okay, I'll just be graphic. He was biting her neck.
Right.
And hanging on to her. And it kind of sounded like she was like crying. So we had this separate cage. And like, I was like, okay, we're just going to separate them because like, I don't like this. And then she would cry because she wanted to go back. And I was like, you little, I was so mad at her. That happened several times.
Yeah. But the big lesson that I got from that experience, and from owning a hedgehog, and from owning a bearded dragon, is like,
it's
most
hard.
pets that aren't just cats and dogs are high maintenance in one way or the other. They deserve and need a lot from you.
I remember going to get our bearded dragon food at the local pet store. There was only one at the time in the town that we lived in.
Yes.
And you had started up a conversation with this girl who was dipping.
Yes.
Okay. And that's, even from where we are from, was pretty rare. And she was talking about her bearded dragon, and you guys were talking about, bearded dragon care and stuff, and you were like, yeah, you have to have the, I can't remember now, but it's like the UVA, UVB light and all this, and she was just like, what? Like, I don't even do any of that.
We used to massage Godzilla in hot water to get her to use the bathroom. I mean, it was like daily care beyond, hey, there's a lizard in a cage, you feed it the right things and you turn its lights off and on.
That would be cool.
It was a lot more. Humidity levels, like, I mean, it takes a lot of things to take care of these animals. So he's right. I guarantee you a fox is a total bitch to take care of. I couldn't even imagine.
On top of my refrigerator at 3 o'clock in the morning. Don't think I can do it.
No thanks. But anyway, great video. Always glad to be watching Casual Geographic. This was a fun one. This was a pretty wholesome one, I think.
Very wholesome. Unlike our comments.
Right. What did you think?
Yeah, no, super wholesome. I'm just convinced that I would no longer own a fox.
Nah.
But those little Arctic foxes,
cute. Yeah, they're adorable. Go to the zoo.
Obviously, I don't have the climate for that.
Check them out. Watch videos of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this one, y'all. Thank you to Casual Geographic for doing such a good job putting this video together. Thanks to you guys for hanging out with us and watching this video.
Yes.
We will see you next time.
Yes.
Bye.